I'm gonna from the earlier video, so this might be short. I don't know because I gotta get ready for work here in a little bit. But anyways, I got like at my time limit, and I realized it. I was like, shit, I gotta hurry and end it. But I was talking about Pandora's box and about life and about how chaos is going to ensue and it's going to happen, and it's like have that strong foundation, that even if it knocks you off track, and so say it's something as simple as I do my dishes at 2 p.m. every day. That is my time, that's when I do it, or I make my bed every morning when I wake up. Well, there's going to be something that's going to happen that's going to throw you off. And then this is a level also of like perfectionism, and this is where OCD can develop and stuff like that, because you're like, I wake up every morning, and it's even like a job, I got to be at work at this time, and I've got to be there at this time, and I've got to get in the car at this time, so that way, and then one day on the way to work, there's a car wreck in front of you. So you got to slow down, or they're doing road work, and so you got to take a scenic, not a scenic route, but a detour, and it happens. And so if you're in this mindset of like, this firm hold of beliefs and do this and that's the way that it is and everything, that can it's like a train wreck, and it just your whole brain, and you're like, fuck, in this day, and everything's going wrong. And it could be just one thing, or it could be a lot of things. So say you are going to work, and say there is, construction going on, and so there's a detour, and the detour makes you 15 minutes late. So then you're 15 minutes late, and then because it's thrown off your whole rhythm, then your whole day is thrown off, Sorry. So, or even like doing the dishes at 2 p.m. and something happens and you can't do them. But anyways, so your whole rhythm is thrown off. And you'll try to readjust, and you'll try to go into work and be like, I'm so sorry that I was 15 minutes late. They're doing this road construction. I didn't know, and so I'm late, and I had to take a detour to get here. And let's say, there's two versions of that there that can go, There's the boss that's lenient and goes, oh, I know, and I understand, and I get it, and it's okay, and I done had so-and-so doing your job for the past 15 minutes that you've been late, so you're good. Just go in and continue with your job. And you're thinking, okay, yay, good, and everything's taken care of, And then, I don't know, chaos is like a demon, so it likes to knock again. So you're going on and everything's going good, but because your nerves are a little bit shot, let's say, or some shit like that. That's like me cutting my fucking finger the other day at work. But your nerves are a little shot, and you're like, oh, okay, my boss says it's all good. We're good. I'm good. Good, And so you're just like, yay, and you're just like, whew, dodged a bullet, is the way that you feel. And then say you go to make like a big pot of something, say you work at a restaurant, so you go to make a big pot of some type of food that you got to make every day, or what the fuck ever. And then as you're carrying it, you trip, or you don't even trip, but you just, I don't know, something happens, and so you spill it, right? So then that throws off your day. And then you got a mess to clean up, and you got this huge mess or something to clean up, and you're like, okay. That happens sometimes, let it go, let it slide. Get back on routine. There's only so many times that you can readjust to get yourself back on a routine before your routine becomes gone. And I don't want to say that and sound like an asshole and people disagree with me and be like, no, you keep pushing. You keep pushing. You get your routine out there. If your routine is to be at work on time and to have an order in which you do things at your job, and then to be home at a certain time and have an order in which you do things, and no matter how many times everything pushes up against you and all that. But see, where friction is, then friction will always be. So this is like the scientific type, so if you don't learn to relax and to not push as hard, then then it's never going to relax and not push as hard. It's a balancing act, you know? So, here you are and you've had a routine, let's say for a month, and your routine, it's been going great. Everything's amazing. Everything's wonderful. And then Bobby Joe decides to sign some paperwork so that way there's some road construction. You didn't know there's fucking detour. You got to take the detour. You're late for work. You spill the fucking food, or even if you don't, and your boss was, let's say, not lenient, and everything. So it's kind of like this, it comes up, and it's stressing you out. And so you're like, okay, it's not my routine no more. My routine has got thrown off, And then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to keep, you want up it. You're like, okay, well, I'm still going to keep on and do everything on time. But then something else happens. And then, you get what I'm saying? And you're just constantly climbing this ladder, And by the time you're up here, you're so far from your normal routine that you had down here that you're just like, holy shit. And sometimes this interruption doesn't just happen in a day. Sometimes it happens over a week. Sometimes it happens over a year, a month, a lifetime, what the fuck ever. So you're just constantly climbing the ladder. So life is constantly climbing a ladder. So you're constantly just, and everything. And then it's like, oh, well, the reason bad things happen is so you can learn from them. Is it? And then if so, then what the fuck is the lesson? Because say, okay, the lesson is from here on out, for as far as, okay, I was late for work because of detour. From here on out, I need to look before I leave, get in the car to make sure that I'm not going to go a way that's going to cause me to be to work late. So you do that. And then, oh, this is why I spilled this. So let me make sure that I never spill this again. Let me make sure that I'm always conscious more and paying more attention so that way I don't spill the food again. Okay, let me do this. Let me do that. Let me, and you're just constantly, let me do this. Let me make sure. Let me, and you're just constantly, and it keeps, and it's never ending, And so you learn to else just keep on. Let me, let me do this, let me do that, let me, to the point that you're kind of like a fucking robot and you're like, let me fix it, And what was it? EJ said to me, fucking, God, I love her. But she's like, I'm not Fix It Felix. She's like, I'm more like Wreck It Ralph, And I was just like, you're such an asshole. But anyways, like, and boy, she proved it. But, cause she wrecked my heart. But, anyways. Fuck. Okay, don't get on that, Heather. Don't get on that. You're gonna break your own fucking heart. But anyways, so anyways, it's like, let me, and you're just like, let me get back to my normal routine. And then that's when something traumatic happens. When you're like, if I just keep trying to get back on my normal routine, I'll get back on it, and you're like, just persistence pays off, determination, all that. And you just keep trying. And then that's when you come home and you've been so focused on just trying to keep this one aspect of your life in a routine. And let's say, you get served, an eviction notice, or you get your car note and you can't pay it and your car gets taken away, or somebody dies, or, your pet dies, or something traumatic. And that's just like me. My kid got taken temporary custody of. And it just sucks everything out of you. And you're just like, I'm fucked. And you're just like, damn it, And then if you're like me and you've had this shit happen to you a lot, because you've had a lot of deaths, and You've had a lot of threats from people about them taking your kid from you. And you've had a lot of threats about everything else. And those threats are just as fucking damaging as the actuality. And then I've had a grandmother that still to this day, even when I talked to her the other day, she's like, oh, I'm going to die any day. I've been hearing that from that woman since I was 2. So for 28 years, it's like, the guilt trip of, she's gonna die, And then she's in her own little world, and it's like, she's like, well, I tell people all the time that anything that breathes, it's gotta die, it's gonna die. Anything that breathes is gonna die. And you just want to look at her and go, okay, I understand that. And so you don't have to tell me that you're gonna die. And you hadn't had to tell me for 28 fucking years. So can you shut the hell up already? Can you, just shut up? That repetitiveness. Because it's her that's in denial is the problem. It's her that's scared of death. Even though she says she's not, and she wants to go and be with her sister and brother, her sisters and her brother, and all this and everything. She's ready to go home, and she's tired and all that. But she's scared. And she's been scared for a very long time of death. And I don't know why. And I think I do to a degree, because I think she knows that she's done something that she shouldn't have. And that guilt has ate away at her whole fucking life. And she's not just accepted it for what it is, and accepted that if there is a punishment or a repercussion, if you will, for it, that's just the way that it's going to be. Cause and effect. You do something wrong, there's repercussions for it. I'm living fucking proof. I put a belt around my neck in October, jerked it. Asked my kid if she wanted me to kill myself. Asked her if she wanted me to kill all of us, because she's making me so fucking miserable, bitching all the time about how hard life is. And I'm sitting here going, I know life's hard. I get it, I know. And, she's just constant, and I'm just like, I know, honey. But God, can you stop bitching about it so much and just watch the movie, or find something that makes you happy and focus on where you're at right now and simplify it, just like this guy's wanting to say to me, simplify it, And so I'm like the pot calling the kettle black in that scenario, because chaos ensues. Chaos is constantly after all of us. And then all these life things where, that I'm on and stuff, and it's like, oh, just put your best foot forward and be positive and this and that and all this and that, and everything. And then it's like, oh, man's greatest tragedy is to, take serious what the gods intended for fun. Okay, if you believe in God, one God, if you believe in God and Adam and Eve and all that, Adam and Eve fucked us up because they decided to have fun, because the fun was to go against the rule of God. So anybody that, kind of, relates to that is, it's like, oh, fun, bad, and that's like the movie The Croods that Jen's kid loves, anything new is bad, 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 Eep's talking about her dad, anything new is bad, it's just all bad, Life is just a big head fuck, that's all there is to it. You don't even have to ever have sex, because life will screw your mind enough that, you don't even have to, but, God, I feel horrible saying that, but it's so fucking true. But anyways, so, Where there is friction, there will always be friction. And then that's just like, what is it? What's their name? Fuck, I was just listening to that song last night, and I ain't listened to it in a minute. Oh my god. Anyways, Human, or whatever. Or I'm Human, or I don't know what the name of the song is, but I'm ready for love and I'm ready for war. And I'm ready for more. I bet that nobody's ever been this fucking ready before. Here. Do you need some time to think it over? Look what they do to you. Look what they do to me. You must be joking if you think that either one is free. Here. And then get up off your knees, girl. Stand face to face with your God. And find out what you want. Hello, my name is Human. Go lay down. I'm trying to think of the lyric that's in it. In that song. Fuck. But anyways, figure it out. I figured it out. I'll figure it out, or something like that. The bigger the river, the bigger the drought. And see, that's what I'm talking about. The bigger the river, the bigger the drought. So there's a huge river, and when a drought comes, it's a huge drought. And so friction with life. And so if there's problems, and you just make more problems, or you go up against, and that's like war and anything. The more you push, then it's just back and forth. And that's even like a video that I did a few days ago where I was talking about, people that are in the KKK, KKK, because I seen somebody that was like KKKK, But anyways, people that are in the KKK and, and all that, and white supremacists and all that, and everything that are against blacks, or they hate blacks, or they want blacks dead, and all that, and people that believe that Cain and the mark of Cain, means that, God turned them black, and that's what they are, and they're murderers, and all this, and everything, and shit like that, and anyways, I was talking about that, and about how, yeah, y'all want to push against each other and just keep pushing back and forth and shit, and say when you stay at the equal, you're both at 100%, but the whites stand up against the blacks and they get them down to where the whites are 199, but guess what? The blacks are still going to be that 1%. And then whenever the blacks push back and the blacks get to the point that they're at that 199%, they're still going to be the whites at the 1%. We cannot eradicate and get rid of things that are a constant, and they're going to be there. We can't go out and murder all, women or men or blacks or whites or anything. We can't, because it's not our job to be able to do that. We don't have that power. We don't. We might think that we do. We might convince ourselves that we do. Like, say, for instance, somebody's like, okay, war against, fuck if I know, war against female dogs even, for instance. Let's get rid of all the female dogs. That way there's no more puppies ever again. I guarantee you can't keep up. You can't even keep up with a fucking dog and a cat and them reproducing. And in places that you don't know about, you're not going to kill out something that is meant to be there. You can't do that. You're not God. Nobody is God except for God. And people that are on these power control shit and grandiose level, like, you think you're Satan type shit, like, dude, calm the fuck down, okay? You ain't even that fucking important, okay? You can't even embody Satan, okay? Like, you're not God, and you're like, I know I'm not God, but damn it, you can't even know, okay? God is God, Satan is Satan. You're in the middle. That's where you're always going to be. So you can sit here and you can own all the money and all the world, but you can't get rid of things that you can't get rid of. You can't be in power and control of everything. And then even if you tried to, I have a feeling you'd probably have a brain aneurysm, in all honesty. Because your brain can't process all that, because it wasn't built to. That's even like hearing about geniuses and about how geniuses, it's like, oh, they were a genius, but their house was a mess. Oh, they were so smart at this, but something in them lacked. See, God does not lack in anything. God does not lack in knowledge. God does not lack in ability. There is no lack when it comes to God. And in all honesty, if you take that into account, it might make you go, whoa. And then, wait, Satan came up against God, and God has no lack in knowledge and in everything? And Satan's trying to come up against God? And that'll make you realize how scary or badass or whatever you want to word it, Satan is. Because if you've got somebody that's ultimate power over here, and then you got somebody that's even remotely halfway coming up against that ultimate power, it's like, oh shit, that is bad. But it's not the ultimate, so it's never going to win. God is always going to win. I don't care if everybody started worshiping Satan right now. I don't care if we burned all the Bibles and crosses and everything and we all started worshiping Satan right now. At the end of the day, God's still going to win. And then even if you don't believe in that and you just believe in science and everything and stuff like that, at the end of the day, good is always going to win. So if you want to mope around and be like miserable like most people that I kind of realize that are on this science kick and everything are, hell, I'm miserable too, and I believe in God. But some of y'all don't get why I'm not as miserable as you, is how I feel, or whatever. And it's like, because I believe in God. And then it's like, well, I don't want to believe in God. Okay, then. So don't get mad, or don't get this tension in you and this upset, like, sorry. And then it's like, believing in God to a degree is kind of seen as stupidity for as far as people that, do believe in science and, they're atheists and they don't believe in God and everything. They think that you're ignorant. And some of them, they think that you're taking the easy way out because your life's shit and you just go, well, it's God doing what he wants to. And so you get to pass off that control. Where if you're somebody that doesn't believe in God, then you can't pass off that control. And that control lives within inside you because you're in your own mind telling yourself constantly that you're at fault for everything that's going on in your life. But then that's just like Jen. Jen's an atheist, and I'm not trying to convert her. I'm not trying to make her into a Christian. I'm not trying to make her believe in God. I myself do not even claim to be a Christian. I claim to be spiritual. And then I do not claim the spirituality that some people claim that sit there and they're like, oh, witches and this and pagan and that and everything. I'm me. My religion with God is between me and God, and nobody can interrupt that. It is a bond that was created before any other bond that I ever had with anybody on the face of the planet. It is my source. It is what I came from. It is my parent. God is my parent before my parents were my parents. But anyways, so Jen, or whatever, she's an atheist, and that's fine. And I don't talk to her about it. I don't confront her about it. I don't get on to her for it. I don't say smart-ass remarks to her or anything, And I just try to find a way to word things, and I think about things whenever we get on kind of a topic that could lead there. Now, she does say some kind of smug-ish type things towards me sometimes in dealing with that and everything. But not in all defense, because it's not even a defense, because I don't want to defend myself. But it's just a fact. Last night, she called me over. She wrote me and she said, I'm fixing to do some gay shit and I don't want to. Will you come over? Why are you calling on me, okay, for starters, and not somebody else? She has a better friend than me. Somebody that she's been friends with for a really, really long time. Why not call her instead of me? Okay, I get I'm your neighbor. I'm more convenient. So we can chalk it up to that, okay? And maybe you think that I owe you because you do stuff for me, like take me to work and stuff. So we can chalk it up to that, and that's where that's at. And it's like, okay, that's where we're at with that, like, okay. But as we're sitting there and she's talking and she's jokingly, and we could chalk it up to just being jokingly, But as we're sitting there hanging out and everything, she's saying to me, she's like, Heather, what's wrong with my life? Heather, help me. Heather, what was it? Heather, help me. Heather, what's wrong with my life? And why is my life like this? And I was just sitting there, and she was just saying it jokingly. She's like, laughing and giggling. She's like, why is my life like this? And I'm like, I don't know. And see, that's the thing, is like, she's an atheist. So for her to be like, why is my life like this? And then her response can't be, I don't know. Because her response is supposed to be knowing. Because she don't believe in God. And so she can't put it off and make it easier on herself. And so she's got to be hard on herself. And so, Heather, why is my life like this, is what she's asking me. And it's like, I don't know. I can tell you I don't know, because I don't know. And it's not my job to. Because I believe in God and it's His job to know. And even though I do sit here and I do stress my own mind at times, ultimately at the end of the day, when everything has just blown up in my face, and that's even like my kid and my parents succeeding at taking temporary custody of her and them keeping temporary custody of her for a year, and somebody says to me, why did that happen? And even though I can give you the story and the reason and the legal documents and the court case and all this and everything, ultimately, when everything is boiled away to nothing, I don't know why it happened. And I can only assume that it's for the greater good. It's for the better of things. Because if it wouldn't have happened, then things would actually have been worse than what they are right now. And I'm not saying that in a threatening sense, like, oh, if my kid was home and would have kept fighting with me and we would have gotten, no, God fuck no. That's not what I'm saying at all. So if somebody sees that and takes that like that, that's the reason I'm putting that out there. Because I know how manipulative shitheads are, and I know how shitheads get in their head about things and everything. And I know how people love to be judgmental little assholes. But it's like, no. It's like, it's just that I don't know, and it's my faith. And I believe in God. And so God knows what He's doing. God knows what He's doing when He's pushing me to the edge of everything that I've ever known, everything that I've ever believed in, and everything that I've ever thought. He knows what He's doing. And if He pushes me so far that I commit suicide one day, then He still knows what He's doing. He pushed Stephen Ducharme to the point that, he ended up committing suicide. Other people have committed suicide. He knows what He's doing. I don't know what He's doing. I try to rationalize it. I try to find the reasonings. But I ultimately know it's like a piece inside of me that I can't figure it out. And that doesn't mean that that's going to stop me from trying. But sometimes it will, because sometimes I just need to fucking relax and be simplistic. Like, if you watch my other video before this one, I was talking about the guy that dropped me off, and he's like, just make it simple. But anyway, so, Jen had me over there, called me over. I'm sitting there, and she's like, help me fix my life, and, and why is my life like this, and why am I like this, and all this, and everything. And she's so wrapped up in her head, and everything. And, like, religion-wise, you could say that she's plagued by many demons, if you will, And then here I am, I'm plagued with my own, and it's like, oh, don't hang out with somebody that's plagued with maybe more demons or different demons than what you're, you know. But these are the demons that I myself can combat off. And that's the thing, too, is like there's demons that I have that Jen can combat off, because we all have our strengths and everything. And so that's the reason that, this works out right now at this moment in time and everything. But, she said all that to me, and I didn't get on some high hoity-toity religious kick and start talking to her about religion. I didn't even mention anything about religion, and as a matter of fact, she herself did, though. She's like, oh, we can't, what was it? She's like joking, and she didn't say it like in a very offensive way or anything, but she's like, oh, well, it won't happen, or whatever. Nothing will happen, and this and that, because Heather's here, and Heather's a godly person, and, and maybe there's other godly things around here, and she's like, and her daughter, she's like, and my kid is like a godly, and she's like, and the lamp over here is a godly thing, and this and that, and everything, and she was like, she was drunk, and like, she's just like, laughing and giggling and stuff, and she's like, but Heather, and that's the thing too, is like, she had somebody come over, and she was like freaking out before they came over. She's like, oh my god, why did I tell them, and everything. And I'm sitting there, part of me is trying not to die laughing on the inside. Not because I'm laughing at her, but because she reminds me so much of my cousin Misty, and I miss my cousin Misty so fucking much. And I just want to bust out laughing and be like, I fucking love you. God, you're such a Misty, But she's not. She's Jen, and she's not 100% like Misty, and nobody ever could be. But there's so many fucking similarities. And, she's like, I shouldn't have invited him, and I should have, and I shouldn't have, and, she's back and forth and everything. She can't make up her mind, that anxious, and I get like that sometimes, too, about certain things, but not about the stuff that she does, because we're two completely different sides of the spectrum. I believe in God, she doesn't. We're two completely just blah, and even though me and EJ are too, but we're not. We have similarities, and everybody has similarities, and that's just like me and Jim. We're both female, we're both human, we both have kids, we've raised our kids alone, just shit like that. She's known suicides. I've known a suicide, and stuff like that. And so there's similarities. But, she was like, why did I, and everything. And I just look at her and I'm like, I can tell him to leave. I was like, I can tell them to leave. It ain't no problem for me to tell them to leave or tell them to go. Like, you tell me what to do. Like, that's the thing with me, like, too, you tell me what to do for you to help you, and I'll do it. As long as it does not go against my beliefs, and if it does, then I will sit and I will talk with you, and I will reason with you about why it goes against who I am, and why I'm not going to put myself in that situation or sacrifice that about myself. But as long as it does not sacrifice or hurt or anything, and it's not going to hurt for me to go outside for a friend, if you will, and yeah, I said I'm not going to use the word friend, but I will in this instance. But it's not going to hurt for me to go outside for a friend and tell somebody to leave and that they're not welcome on the property. Not going to hurt me at all. Not going to hurt my feelings. Not going to scare me, anything. It's just like, hey, you're not needed here or wanted here or whatever, or not tonight, or they can't handle you, or they can't put up with you tonight, or whatever, or they're not in the right mindset, so you need to skedaddle and get your ass out of here. It's not going to hurt me to do that at all. And I've always been very firm in things of that nature or whatever. And so, and Jen's picking up on that about me because, as a matter of fact, the landlord's sister was out the other day before I went and paid my rent. And she smiled as we was pulling in, the landlord's sister did. And Jen said to me, she said, "Why don't you tell her to go wipe that smug smile off of her face?" And I just looked at Jen. I was like, "Oh my God," And I know it was just a joking, or whatever. And I was like, "Oh my God." And like I smiled at her, and like she don't know me 100%, but she's like, "No, no, don't say it," And so I get out of the car, and I'm like, "You want me to?" And I swear, if she would have, I would have said it. I'd be like, "Hey, she says for you to wipe that smug smile off your face." But I was getting out of the car, and I was like, "You want me to say it? You want me to tell her? You want me to say it?" And just like, "No, Heather, no." I was just like, well, But, Jesus. But anyway, so then, because she kept on about, maybe he shouldn't come, or, or whatever, or they shouldn't come over, or whatever. Maybe she shouldn't see, this person and stuff like that, and all kinds of things and stuff dealing with that and everything. And I was like, well, because she was making it such a big deal, and it wasn't. And see, that's the thing with that guy talking to me that dropped me off last night. He's like, simplify it. And it's like, we all have our different things in which we're capable, by the will of God, to combat naturally. And I can combat the things naturally that Jennifer can't. And Jennifer can combat a little bit of the things that I can't. And that guy can combat the things that I can't, for as far as just making it simplistic, in that way, dealing with that and everything. And that's the reason we all need to fucking learn how to help each other. And that's the reason, she texts me and I go over. I'm there to help, And even though I didn't do anything, just my presence and just your presence means a lot. And see, this is where we're really lacking, and this is where like the whole depression, suicide bug kind of comes from, is because you reach a point where you're like, my presence means nothing. It means nothing to nobody. I live here and they say that I'm important, but then they laugh and snicker about me behind my back, so then I'm not important. But your presence is important, and this I know very firmly because I've lost a lot of people due to death. And then I had a suicide. And I wonder regularly about if he were still alive and what his presence in this world could have done. And I wonder about other people that have died naturally and what their presence, if they were still alive and here, could have done. Versus what it can't do no more because it's gone and it's departed. So presence is a very big thing. And so anyways, like I said, I went over or whatever, and I'm sitting there, and she's like, they've never been here before, and so they don't know that I live here. It's pretty much what she's getting at. And I'm like, okay, and I just looked at her, and I've talked about how I don't lie, and I don't, and everything. And if I do, it's little fibs, or whatever, and it's very rare and stuff like that and everything. But I just looked at her and I said, "Would you just want me to go to the door and say that they got the wrong address and that this is my home and that I live here?" And she like kind of busts out laughing, and then she's like, "No, we're good, we're fine." And then she's like, "But I just can't believe, and all this and everything." And I'm like, it's fine. And calm down. And then that's when she got on that kick about, Heather's a godly person, and nothing bad can happen in the presence of Heather because Heather's a godly person, and stuff, and kind of thrown off on me. And I get, but at the same time, not, like, kind of is mainly, but not, But, that's the reason she's like, the lamp is godly and pointing to stuff in her house, and I'm just like, would you fucking stop? Like, like, calm the fuck down. Oh. But, anyways, it was funny. But I gotta end this here. There's so much more that I could talk about. But I gotta end it here because I gotta get, like, something to kind of eat and get ready for work and get all situated dealing with that and everything. And my job. There's part of me that's like, it's hard, and then there's part of me that's like, it's easy, and then there's part of me that's like, I'm tired and I'm old, and then there's a part of me that's like, I'm young and I just have a really shitty life, and once I get my shit life together, then I won't feel as old and tired anymore. Like, especially about going to the doctor for my leg and my ankle and seeing what the hell's going on with that, And then I'm just like, like, I'm so tired. But, yeah. And I think maybe if I can get past this month and next month, and I get things lined up for as far as filing taxes, and whenever I get my tax money back, I get a car. And then from a car, I get else more hours at my job, or just having a car, period, a truck. Just having a truck and being able to accomplish things. And even if I can't get out, as much as I want to at first because I don't have the money to get out and stuff, just that liberating experience of, and never of having that before, hopefully that'll, like, give me the that I need. But it's like getting from here to there, it's just been such a struggle, and everything. And so it's like, oh, well, it's because, it's a struggle. That means you'll appreciate it more. If I hear that shit one more fucking time in my goddamn life, I'm going to lose it. Oh, it's a struggle to get everything that you want in life, so that way you appreciate it more. Okay, then why wasn't it a struggle for my parents to have me? Because they sure as shit don't appreciate me. Why did I have to be so forthcoming, be like, here, I'm your kid. And even though, yes, my mom said she had a miscarriage, 2 years, I guess, before. So that was me putting shit on hold and being like, nope, not now. I'm not, no, you gotta, But still, why did I come into life when I did and everything? But I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I don't know. And hopefully this guy, I don't know, that helped me and trained me and all that, because, I don't know, it's like, when you feel like somebody kind of sees a part of you, and it's like he didn't, but it's like, just the sympathetic, even, it's like the realization that it's not a facade, it's not me trying to come across a certain way so that way people believe that I'm this when I'm actually not. No, I actually am what the fuck I am. I am depressed. I am sad. I am so fucking drained on the inside. It is hard for me to do my job. It is hard for me to remember. It is hard for me to think about my job when I'm so bombarded in my thought process with everything else. And then it's like, okay, simplify it. Okay, I'll try. And I'm trying to. And I'm having to relearn a whole different everything because this is a place I've never been before. And even though I've been working there, a few days and everything, and then short-term memory, and then I'm only getting 2 days a week, so by the time I got my 5 days in between, or even if they do 2 days and then I work, and then, 3 days and then I work, and, and shit like that, I'm still just like, what? Because I need something that's consistent, but then not, because I'm so tired. I don't know. So, and it's not my job to know, it's God's. And so if I keep going to work and I don't get fired, then I keep going to work and I don't get fired, and then if I get fired, I get fired, and if I don't, then I don't, and if I quit, then I quit, and if I break down and cry and lose my mind, then I break down and cry and lose my mind. Everything is what it is. I have no ultimate power. Power is an illusion, and I just want to have a good life. But I've always wanted to have a good life. And I have a decent life, I do have to say. And that's just like that guy. He's like, things could always be worse. And I'm like, life is shit. And he's like, isn't it supposed to be? And he's like, but do believe, do know that things could be worse. And it's like, I know things could be worse. So that's the reason I try to appreciate it. But when you got people around you that are waving the flags in your face and trying to wrap them around your goddamn head and be like, panic and worry about this because I said so. Because it's the same shit that I panic and worry about. And you need to be exactly like me so that way you're suffering like I am because I don't think that you suffer. And it's like, I do. I do suffer. I do have my own demons. Don't think just because you don't see them, because you are so blinded, that I don't have them. I do have my own demons. I do have my own insecurities. I do have my own problems. And for some reason, God has deemed me worthy enough at this moment in time to be like, hey, you got your own demons and you've had them for years, but we're going to throw some more at you because these motherfuckers over here want to see if you can handle it and they want to see if they can break you. And I'm just like, woohoo. Really? And then it's like, but I'm not going to be cruel and throw my demons back on them, if you will, and do the shit to them that they're doing to me. Instead, I'm going to let God handle that. You go on your own time. I trust you. I know you got this. I know you got me. But when those people go through that and they come crying, oh, I had my own problems and now I got even more because so-and-so caused them for me. Don't be surprised when I just look at you with a blank stare and I'm like, and? Can I help you? Tell me what to do for you and I'll do it if I can and it's not against. And just like Jen last night, and can you come over? I have legs. I can walk. I have a body. I have a presence. Yeah, I can come over. And that's just like EJ, what EJ did for me that night. EJ, I'm crying my eyes out. Heather, not Heather, but shit, EJ, can you come over? And she did. But she did more. And she can't take the responsibility if she did more. She invited me over to spend the night. And then from there on, it was more and more and more. And then got mad at me. And for instance, I'll go ahead and give the example because I still got a few minutes left on this video. Jen has made it clear that she likes me. How much she likes me, I don't know. But she likes me quite a bit. And she even told me last night, she's like, you're within my top 5 friends. And she told the guy whenever he come in, this guy or whatever, she's like, Heather is the best person I know. And it made me, it still makes me want to cry. And, and whenever she said, you're within my top 5 friends, I said to her, yeah, the same for me. And she's like, boy, you sound so happy because yeah, she is the same for me, but she does kind of put me through a little bit of hell. Obviously, from what all I've talked about in my videos and everything. And it's more like a friend of me, than a friend. And then I don't believe in friends. We are all just constantly coexisting, and we need to learn to balance. And we are constantly going back and forth from this person and that person and who can help us and develop us. And so for as far as the whole, oh, you're my friend and all that, we're in a constant state of development. So it doesn't matter who's around you and who's not. If you're going to develop, you're going to develop, and you have to be, flexible with your environment. You can't sit there and be like, this is my only friend, and this is the only friend that I'm ever going to have, forever and a day. You can still respect people's presence, even though I'm not friends no more with my best friend of 15 fucking years, Adrian. And I named her my kid's godmother, and technically she kind of still is, because, like, if I were to die right now and people are like, did Ava ever have a godparent? The answer better be yeah. And that her name is Adrian, because that's the way it was and is, and facts, and even though she hasn't played the part of it as well as I wish she would have, oh well. Who am I to dictate to her how the hell she needs to be a godmother? Who am I to dictate to her how she needs to be a friend to me? She makes her choices and I make mine. But, and see, that's the thing, is she tried to dictate to me how to be a friend to her. And you can't do that with people. You can't have that ultimate power over another human being, no matter how close you are to them. Even me with my kid, perfect example. Even me with my fucking dog and my cat. People need to own pets. Everybody needs to own a fucking pet, because a pet, and I'm not talking a little goldfish. Everybody needs to own at least a 45-pound dog at some point in their life, when they're a kid especially, I believe. So that way they can understand the imbalance or whatever, the power control struggle and all that. Yes, Caesar Milan can teach you, if you watch him, he can teach you how to understand dogs. But guess what's happening to you in the process of you understanding dogs? You are losing the superiority complex and the control in your mind of, no, they're a dog, they're dumber than me, I tell them to bark, they better do it, damn it. And it's like, no, they're not going to do it, because they're their own living, breathing thing. You can't dictate. And even though you can go and beat the shit out of them, or beat the shit out of a kid, or beat the shit out of a person, because you want that person to listen to you right now, And you can even use scare tactics, if you want to call it that. And you could even say that that's what I did to my kid. I'm like, do you want me to kill us? Do you want me to kill myself? But at the same time, it wasn't a scare tactic as much as it was me trying to instill in her that she is not in ultimate control of anybody or anything. Her mother included. She can sit there and try to manipulate me, but she's not going to win at the end of the day. Jen can sit and try to manipulate me. My dog can try to manipulate me. My landlord can try to manipulate me. But at the end of the day, and even though they might get away with it to a certain extent, just like I was talking about blacks and whites, and you're equal, and here's 100 and 100, you're both at 100%, and then this one pushes, and it pushes all the way down to 199, there's still going to be that 1%. And another one pushes back, and there's still going to be that 1%. And damn it, I'm in fucking existence, okay? I don't know why. I don't know what God's plan is. I don't know why my presence in earth and the world is important. But I'm here, damn it. Just like my dog's here. Just like the fucking flies flying around, or anything. It is what it is. Things are what they are. And that's what I was trying to teach my kid, is the ultimate lesson of life, which is things are what they are. You may not understand it. It's not going to hurt you to try to understand it. It's going to stretch your brain and, and all this, and your consciousness level and all kinds of things. But at the same time, when you push yourself really far and you're like, everything's on me, and then you get taught that it's not, because chaos ensues and it's going to keep pushing. And the more you push against it, and you're like, and that's like Jen and not believing in God and everything, and that's fun. That's fine. But when she keeps pushing against, causing that friction, it's all me, and I'm in control of everything dealing with my life, other than other people. So I can control myself, but I can't control my daughter. But I can control myself in the way that I react towards my daughter, so that way my daughter's behavior does this, and that way my daughter grows up as this. And so having that, and being that in your head is a lot of responsibility, a lot of stress, and a lot to take on. And that's the reason she has anxiety, and that's the reason I have depression, And that's the reason I combat my depression, is because I constantly am kind of telling myself, no, 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 back off, slow down, calm down. You're not that important. You're important, but you're not that important. You're not the ultimate power. You're not the ultimate power. And granted, committing suicide, yeah, you can kind of put yourself in that, hey, let me be an ultimate power. Like, it's like you're asking God when you commit suicide. You're like, can you just go ahead? You're begging is what you're doing. And when you're successful, it's because God has said, yeah, come on home, honey. That's what a successful suicide is, okay? A successful suicide is God seeing you suffer so much that you haven't even given him time to prepare your death. And he's trying to teach you to be stronger, to see if you can, and you can't. And sometimes you don't succeed at it, and that's because God's saying, yeah, you actually can, and I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to make you even stronger than what you were beforehand. But when you commit suicide, it's God saying, I know you've had enough. Come on home. But anyways, so Jen's in that, mindset of everything, is her and her stuff and all that and everything, and that's fine. That's fine. I don't hate her for it. I'm not against her for it. It's almost like a kid, and I don't want to say this, and that's like even she views me as a kid sometimes, because she said to me one day, she said, Heather, you just don't get it, do you? And I said, no. And I said, but I don't want to. And it's not that I don't want to because I don't care and I'm like, I don't want to know, It's not that. It's that I believe in God, ultimate power. He's ultimate power, so I ain't worried about it. I ain't worried about that stuff. And so seeing her go through everything that she's going through and stuff, and just like she looks at me going through the stuff that I'm going through, and she's thinking, poor kid. And that's even, she told me that when they come to pick me up last night and I wasn't able to leave on time, she said that her friend Ren and this girl that's staying with her or whatever, that they told her that they felt sorry for me. Like they seen me in there doing my job or trying to do my job or whatever, and they felt sorry for me. And so you look with compassion. And so they're looking at me like I'm a kid. And it's like, poor kid, can't figure it out. And that's like me when I went over to Jen's last night. I mean, I wasn't completely there, but it's kind of like, poor kid. Poor kid, can't figure it out. And it's just that compassion and that loving and that kindness and that respect, that mutual respect and bond there. And granted, it gets shaken and tore apart sometimes, and that's the reason, people don't stay in people's lives and friendships, if you will, fall apart and all that and everything. But it's just like, she's like, why? And she's like, help, and she's like joking, and everything. And I'm like laughing and everything, and that's just like kid, kid can't get something done right, and they're trying to use humor to deflate the seriousness of the situation. They're like, why, and everything, and you just, but you learn to value things is the biggest thing, you gotta learn to value stuff. But anyways, so here's my second video for the day for the continuation. Hopefully I'll stay in a better mindset. Hopefully that guy's there again today that was there last night, because and then he was like, just simplify things, and I know somebody, and you want me to talk to him, and I'm like, would you? And the thing is since he's a guy, and he's younger than me, but still, since he's a guy, I'm like, and the whole guys and girls, and all that, and and then even this young dude that, and I'm like, would y'all just stop? Damn it. And then this one that asked me to be the curator, then the leader of his amino page, even though I ain't done shit on the amino, And then he come across like he was hitting on me one night, and now he's saying that he wasn't. But I think in all honesty he was, and now he's just trying to backtrack because he got like, kind of friend zoned or whatever. And I feel bad, and I'm just like, can't you just admit that, yeah, you did mean it like that, and that way we can discuss it? But if somebody's not ready for a discussion, then they're not ready for it. And that's a great point that Jennifer made when I was over at her house last night. And that's like me getting on here and putting my videos and talking about her. We're not at a point in our friendship that I can sit down with her and discuss it with her and it not make her feel like I'm like pushing her, and like trying to control. Her ego's too high in that aspect. And that's like things that I know that she probably wants to say to me, and she thinks that my ego's too high in that aspect. And even though it may be in some points, it's really not. Because I've been told everything practically my whole fucking life. I mean, I was born and it's like, you're a piece of shit. So, And, so anyways, she's got this girl living with her that she don't really want living with her, or not living with her, but staying with her, or whatever, because this girl's young, and she's young, and she had her mom committed suicide last summer. And so Jen's trying to help her out, and everything. But at the same time, Jen don't want, it's the transfer of energy, if you will. Jen don't want to put in so much time, effort, and energy with this girl for this girl to not have the same mutual respect and put back the time, energy, and effort into her. It's like whenever you meet somebody, you're questioning the abilities and the effort and the amount and all that and everything. And so that's what she's doing with this girl. And, anyway, so this girl's staying with her and stuff like that and everything. And, but she originally didn't want her to. And I forgot where the fuck I was going with this. But anyway, she originally didn't want her to. That's what it was. And so I went over, and I was serious at first. And I was like, what do you want from me? What do you want me to do? Why am I here? And she's like, my life is just shit. My life is just falling apart, and why do I do this to myself? And everything. And I'm like, calm down. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, well, for starters, you didn't want her living with you. And like, I'm wanting to talk to her about that and getting that conversation, and everything. Kind of like, maybe we need to sit down and talk with her and tell her, But Jen has covered the basics of this is how, if you stay with me, these are the rules, this is what you have to follow, this and that, and if not, then you're out on the street, and stuff like that and everything. And so I mentioned that, and then Jen said that, and so I realized that Jen wasn't ready for that conversation to, and that's like you lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink, and that's like, stuff like that, dealing with me and her and what I say in my videos and what she, and this and that and everything. And so you can't make people learn things unless they're ready to. And it's not even an ego on them like, no, I don't want to learn right now. They literally can't. Knowledge cannot be absorbed when it's not ready to. And that's like even me at my job. Like, dude's trying to talk to me. And, like, I was just like, yeah, that's what I have to, okay. And it's like my sponge, if you will, if we're all like sponges and we absorb, the water, and the water is the knowledge or nutrients or whatever, however you want to word it, and we're all like sponges, my sponge is, it's full right now. And so I'm like barely able to even, just barely. And it's like, so that way I can survive my days right now. And it's like, but to retain all the knowledge even for my new job, I need to be like that. So that way I can retain the knowledge for my new job. But instead I'm just like, so it's like bits and pieces, and I'm just like, and so he's like giving me a whole rundown of shit. And I was just like, yeah, like that, it's like, that sounds awesome. That sounds pretty. What did you say? I don't know what the fuck you just said. It's like that, what? And so I was like, there's no way, and everything and stuff. And he's like, I believe in you, and I think you can. And he's like, you just gotta simplify things and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I'll try. But you can't until it happens. You can't force something to happen. And that's the reason, like, part of me, is like, even though I'm like, okay, goodbye, EJ. Maybe you're right. Maybe two women shouldn't be together, and everything. I can't force her to be with me or even talk to me about the whole situation that happened between us until she's ready. And so you look at people, that's just like Jen, you look at them like a kid. You look at them with love and compassion. And when they can't do what you need them to, or what you think they should, or what society dictates, and the norm for me and EJ would be for us to be able to sit down and talk about this. And you can't do that because they're not ready, then they're just not ready. And they may never be ready. And so it's like always looking at a little kid, that they just can't do it. And it's not that they're, stubborn and mad and I'm never going to try. It's that they may have tried and they got hurt, or they can't right now because they're preoccupied, or their mind is more focused on the fun over here of this and the excitement of that. And so it's just a bunch of stuff. But I got to end it here. I can't believe I went the whole another hour. But yeah, so there's my philosophies for today. That's probably what I'll name these two. But I'm going to let you go. I hope you're doing good. Keep putting your best foot forward. Know that your presence is something. Even though I sit here and you'll see me get depressed as hell on my videos. And just keep trying. And if you need somebody to talk to, hit me up on my Facebook Messenger. I'll catch you later. Bye.